The U.S. just set a new record with over 145,000 new cases of COVID. Hospitals are starting to reach capacity in some states, and restrictions and curfews are starting to tighten. Now, one of President-elect Biden's coronavirus advisors laid out one plan to get things under control. Take a look.
We could pay for a package right now to cover all of the wages, lost wages for individual workers, for losses to small companies, to medium-sized companies, for cities, states, county governments. We could do all of that. If we did that, then we could lock down for 4 to 6 weeks. And if we did that, we could drive the numbers down. It's not like we're asking for months and months and months of this kind of situation. But we also have to recognize what we're doing is not working.
I can't hear him.
So, I mean, people don't really want to hear this kind of stuff, but what's your reaction? Are you having trouble hearing stuff? You all can hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what's... Good. All right. So, again, what's your reaction to hearing that, you know, they're starting to say, hey, maybe we need to do this again with a plan in place?
I'm not a huge fan of a second lockdown, and from what a lot of the doctors are saying, including Dr. Fauci, but also this advisor, was that they'd have to approve spending, and as we've seen in Congress, that hasn't gone that easily, even with stimulus. So I don't think this is something that would happen, and I don't think it's necessarily the most prudent answer to the problem. I think if we kind of waved in front of the American public, either we shut down or we just all wear our masks right now. Because right now, if you go into any local business or you really do anything out in public, the business owners are the most diligent because they don't want to be shut down and they don't want someone to get sick and they don't want the virus traced to their location. So people are really handling it well, and by allowing the businesses to make those choices, we're keeping them open and we're keeping people safe. All this science, by the way, of the masks has just continually reaffirmed their importance. Now it's 70% effective, and it's not just in what you transmit, it's you contracting. It protects you and your family as well. So I think we could hold on to this little bit of sense of normal that we have going on right now, the little bit that's available and open, if we all could just really continue our hand, cleaning our hands, social distancing, and wearing our masks.
Right. What do you think, Joy? Is it, in your mind, a good idea or not a great idea? What do you think?
I say fat chance it's going to happen because Osterholm has his hands full with Americans. First of all, as you said, Sarah, McConnell needs to pass a stimulus, but he doesn't care about Americans. He only cares about his job. And the Trump voters have drunk the Kool-Aid, so they're not going to listen. I mean, they went to those rallies without masks, even when they found out from a Stanford study that 700 deaths occurred because of, I guess, 1 or 2 of those rallies. Exit polls are showing that 3/4 of Republicans care more about rebuilding the economy than they do about the virus, which we know is connected to the economy. If you can't control the virus, you won't be able to control the economy. And as far as people wearing masks, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Trump could say one day in one of his, press conferences, all he has to do is say to these people, look, you guys, you want to live, put the masks on, just like Sarah said. They're not going to do it. He's afraid of getting the country being locked down and him being locked up.
Right.
That's all he cares about.
Well, the issue is, as Joy is saying, Americans aren't going to wear their masks. Most Americans, or many Americans, they're not going to socially distance. They're not going to follow the CDC guidelines in that way. They're not going to continuously wash their hands. And so if everyone isn't doing the same thing and required to do the same thing, it just doesn't work. And so I actually am in favor of this short-term lockdown of, what is it? I think it's a 4 to 6 weeks, because that type of thing has worked. If you look at New Zealand, if you look at Australia, they were the first countries to do that. And when they did it, the government closed the nation's borders, imposed one of the world's strictest lockdowns in a bid to eliminate the virus, and they did it, and they did it successfully. I'd rather do that for 4 to 6 weeks than have hundreds of thousands more Americans die. I think it makes complete sense.
Yeah, I'm with you. You give people the money, hold it, you give people the money to stay home for 5 weeks, and everybody locks down and we start clean,
Yeah.
maybe we could get this under control. But my problem is, you know, we went into this lockdown and came out and no one still had a plan. Nobody had a plan. So maybe now that there's talk of an actual plan, maybe this will work better, particularly because,
Can I
you
say
know,
something?
if we, yeah, sure.
Go ahead, finish your sentence. It's okay. I wanted to just add something.
Oh, I just wanted to say that, you know, I'm willing to do anything to get us back where we need to be. Because this idea that, you know, this one doesn't want to wear a mask, this one doesn't want to do that, you know, we all have to do the same thing or it's not going to work, which is what everybody is saying also. Go ahead, Joy.
I just want to add this one thing. It occurs to me that Trump is so evil at this point. I really think he's evil. I think he absolutely relishes the idea that things are getting worse and it's going to be in Biden's lap. I really think he likes that. That's how sick he is.
Well, Joy, can I really
yeah.
quickly, Whoopi, say one thing in response to Joy and Sunny?
Sure.
I know people aren't wearing their mask, but what I'm saying is if they came out and said, okay, here are your options. Either we shut down everything or you wear a mask. Make them make that choice, because I have a feeling that people would opt for their masks.
Well, maybe.
Oh, I don't agree with
you know,
that.
we could also make it financial and say, you know what, here's the fine for not wearing your mask, because every time you don't wear a mask, you send in somebody to a hospital that has no room for them. So you can start building that. And I'm sorry, you know, it's either going to be one thing or another, but we've got to get this under control or we're never going to get ourselves out of this hole.